Right now, negotiators are in Egypt for high-stakes, indirect talks between Israel and Hamas, as President Trump is urging all parties to move fast or bloodshed could ensue. Steve Harrigan is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Hi, Steve.
Carly, President Trump really is keeping the pressure on all sides of the negotiators, telling them he expects the hostages to be released in a matter of days and that speed is of the essence.
The countries of the world, a lot of the countries surrounding Israel, frankly, Muslim, Arab, and many others, have had great meetings with Hamas, and it looks like it's working. So we'll wait for a little while, see how it all turns out.
Will the administration begin firing?
It'll work very quickly. I think it's going to go very quickly. The meetings seem to be very good. We'll find out. We'll let you know soon.
Now, one potential problem in the Trump plan could come in phase two if Hamas refuses to disarm. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that if Hamas refuses to disarm, the real problems could come, the real challenges could happen even after those hostages are released.
The second part of this, and it's going to be a much tougher part of it, is what happens after that? Who's going to run Gaza moving forward? It can't be Hamas. It can't be a terrorist organization. And the demobilization of terrorism in Gaza is the end goal here in terms of ensuring that this never happens again. That whole place has to be rebuilt. That's not going to happen in 72 hours or 6 weeks. I mean, that's going to take some time. But this is the closest we have been. This is the most progress we have seen.
Now, on the ground in Gaza, there is still no ceasefire. Israeli Defense Forces were active over the weekend. The Air Force at one point targeting, and it says destroying a terrorist cell, which it claims was targeting Israeli forces. Carly, back to you.
The war is ongoing. Steve Harrigan live for us in Tel Aviv. Steve, thank you. Let's bring in senior fellow at the Independent Women's Forum and member of the Council on Foreign Relations, Dr. Qanta Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you. It's clear that we are so close. There's so much at stake, and yet so much could still go wrong. Where do you view where things are with these ceasefire negotiations right now?
Both Jared Kushner and President Trump bring enormous political capital into this negotiation at a very critical time. Notice the president referred to the Muslim world. They have aligned behind them all the leaders of almost 1 billion Muslims. Almost 50% of the world's Muslim majority population is behind this. Also, the pressure is intense on Hamas, which knows that it's isolated. Its major patrons, Turkey and Qatar, also want to see this agreement realized. And Qatar had a very major setback with the strike in Doha almost a month ago today. That's what's brought this to the crescendo. Yeah. What's very important, President Trump's words, move fast. First of all, our hostages, President Trump refers to them as our hostages, are in gravely critical condition. My fear is that they're probably now being fed by the terrorists, but not scientifically. And this is a very dangerous period for their health. And also anything, and Hamas will look for every opportunity to reject this, reject these offers, could set off more conflict.
Dr. Ahmed, you're right. The devil's in the details here. And right now, Hamas is saying they don't want to disarm. They're also saying that they want the release of some of the most notorious Palestinian prisoners, including people who participated in October 7th, to be released in exchange for these hostages. And yet on the other side, you have President Trump saying there's not much room for negotiations here. So what do you think these discussions will look like that are taking place in Egypt today?
I think the discussions in Egypt are going to be about logistics, and there are already signs that there may be some movements on the ground, alerting the Red Cross how to actually transport the hostages. I absolutely believe that Hamas knows exactly where almost all of the hostages are and the hostage remains. That's a delaying tactic. I think there's also other horse trading that has already happened, incentivizing states that are guaranteeing that this peace and this ceasefire will lead to truce and eventually complete cessation of conflict. Yeah. I'm sure there are negotiations about where some Hamas leaders want to be exiled, and not only the financing, but exactly building that international force that is going to hold the peace. That will only work if Israel does have security control over the margins, and it plans to pull back to almost 90% of the territory will be ceded. There will be a border around it that Israel will control, and the international community will support that. But Hamas is out of lifelines, and so are the patrons that financed and supported Hamas. They understand that this conflict cannot be allowed to spill over because it is so dangerous if it's not contained now.
You know, Dr. Ahmed, October 7th is tomorrow. Could you imagine we see the release of these hostages back to their families on the same day or week that this terror attack took place 2 years ago? I mean, hope is a very scary thing, but that's also a very real possibility. Final thoughts to you.
Carly, it's an incredibly emotional day. I was in Israel days after and inspected the bodies with pathologists in autopsies of what Hamas did to human beings, men, women, children, infants. So this has been an anguish for Israel and an anguish for all of us who care about humanity. I think the date is extremely important to President Trump as well. And he wanted this conflict to be over by the second anniversary. I do believe in the next 48 hours, we're going to see some kind of agreement. And there is not going to be any tolerance for Hamas's machinations that it is used to manipulating others with. The noose is tightening, not only on Hamas, but this also underlines the isolation of Iran, who is its major patron.
Senior fellow at the Independent Women's Forum and member of the Council on Foreign Relations, Dr. Qanta Ahmed, we thank you so much for joining us as we all pray that this war comes to an end and the hostages come home. We thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.